This is the Elsa Show.
Oh, hey, hi. We're back again. How are you, Clay?
I'm good. We got a little shot of winter weather here in Chicago today. It was it's very odd. It's a sleety, rainy, snowy, crappy kind of day.
Yuck. So we had, I don't know about you guys, but we had I don't know, like maybe three days or so of like really, really spring weather. We had so much snow on the ground and it melted like 90% of it. It's almost all gone. And now they're saying we're going to get a little cold snap. I think so. I have these weird little quirks. Surprise. And I removed the weather app from my phone and I never check the weather. So I like to be surprised or aggravated, apparently, whatever the case is going to be. I don't know why I started doing that, but it's like, I think it's just a grudge against hearing everybody always talk about, like, that's always the opener. Oh, how about that weather? I'm like, I don't know. And I don't care. I'll know when I know. My defiance disorder, I guess. I don't know.
I've worn shorts twice this year. That's my measuring stick. So have we had some spring? We have had some spring.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, crappy weather today.
Yeah. Are you a spring guy? I don't love. Yeah, I don't actually love spring, but
yeah, sweatshirt and shorts is the perfect weather for me. I would live like that forever.
Yeah.
Listen, folks, we're like sitting here babbling, but we got stuff. We got stuff to talk about. We got some.
Me too.
What do we got? We got some Kristi Noem. We got some New York City craziness. We got some funeral stuff. More international soccer news. We got all kinds of stuff going on.
All kinds of stuff. Here are the details, guys. Here they are.
Welcome back to the show. This week, we're diving into DHS drama with Noem's ouster, a botched bombing in NYC, crazy airport lines, fallout from Jesse Jackson's funeral, questioning Talarico's moderate mask in Texas, Iranian soccer stars seeking freedom down under, and the draft buzz that's got everyone talking. Join Elsa and Clay Novak as they unpack the facts, call out the hypocrisy, and add our take, with bold truth, real faith, and no apologies. Let's get into it.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad you put us back on the rails, because I would have just kept going, just casual to chat. People have been like, are they ever going to get to the point? Like, are they ever going to talk about No, I'll just keep talking about random things. This is not random. So who hasn't heard by now, but Trump just dropped the hammer on Kristi Noem, firing her. We'll talk about why I'm putting that in air quotes, because we'll talk about it. But firing her as DHS secretary after a rocky tenure marked by botched ad campaigns, staff clashes, and the Minneapolis shootings. Now it's going to be Senator Markwayne Mullin stepping in to steer the ship, as they might say. So let's go right off the bat, Clay. You and I were talking beforehand. Was she? And I will say, when I shared the post about this, I shared a post that termed it as her being fired, and there were quite a few people that were fired up in the comment section, like, she didn't get fired, she got promoted. And it was this like really big argument that I did not partake in the comment section. They were battling it out in there. And, I kind of lean toward, I don't know, maybe fired isn't quite the right word, but she was obviously removed and moved. So lateral move, Clay, a promotion, a demotion, like, I want your spin on this.
So, it's amazing that we've gone this far. So it's been 14 months since inauguration. And this is the first director / cabinet member that has been removed by President Trump, if my memory serves. Other than what's his name, who couldn't get, couldn't get confirmed. But everybody else has been in place, right? We haven't fired anybody yet. Which, compare that to the last time President Trump was in office, and this is extraordinary. So, he's established a couple of new, or forced the establishment of a couple of new organizations, one of them being the Board of Peace, which we found out about last month. And then now we've got this Shield of the Americas, which is, a Western Hemisphere wide, multinational organization focused on battling, drug cartels and those kinds of things. And so Secretary Noem, former secretary, well, actually, she's still in the seat.
Right.
So former
Until
secretary
when?
is she's not fired yet.
Right.
Or was she? Was she removed and they put an interim in there? Maybe that's how it's working.
Is that what it is? Okay.
I think, I looked at Mullin's, I looked at Mullin's bio and he's got like a TBD or maybe even 1st of April. I think he assumes the seat.
Okay.
And that may have to do with his position coming out of, his seat in Congress, et cetera.
Sure.
Anyway, so with her, she got moved to be the U.S. representative in the new Shield of the Americas organization, whatever you want to call it. Do I think she got fired? President Trump doesn't fire people and keep them around.
It's a good point.
Did she get moved because of something that he was not happy with? Yes.
Yes.
I do believe, and I think it's less about her overall performance because she really was doing the things that he campaigned on,
right?
Close the border, deport, illegals, like all of those things.
Right.
And I think honestly, it was this $200 million ad campaign. You could do a lot of things to President Trump, but if you put his name on the line for something that he was not aware of or on board with, there's a price to pay.
Right.
He will own up to everything. Like the guy's not afraid of, I did that, or I said that, or this is what we're doing. But I think in that case, she claimed that he knew, and it may have been something as simple as a miscommunication. But again, he doesn't fire people and keep them around.
Right.
So I don't think this is a promotion. I think she was moved for a very specific reason. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that she no longer has any true law enforcement responsibility. And so whatever happens with this $200 million ad campaign, there's rumors of her having an affair. There's all kinds of things going on. Whatever it is, President Trump decided she needed some time out of the spotlight, and he moved her to something a lot less on the radar screen.
Yeah. Yeah. She, I think if you want to simplify it, I think it's a matter of she was more of the story. She personally was becoming the story rather than the work and the job and the successes. So when the spotlight gets put on the person more than what they're accomplishing, like there's a problem. There's a problem. I personally have had nothing against her whatsoever. I know the big superficial criticism is always about her appearance, with the hair and the nails and the, lashes and all of the things and the makeup and the photo ops and all that stuff. I never had any problem with any of that, to be honest with you. I didn't really care as long as she was doing her job. But, she was becoming too much of a, too much of a main attraction in all the wrong ways. So it feels like kind of a no-brainer, but I just thought it was really funny how mad people were getting. Like, y'all gotta, how about we do this crazy thing called calm down? Just calm the heck down. Like, I appreciate anybody who feels very loyal to to anyone for that matter. I mean, your loyalty is great. It's lovely, but chill with the blind loyalty. Like, it's okay to respect someone and like them and admire them and be impressed with their work, but the blind loyalty and the rabid foaming at the mouth reactions when anybody dares to say anything, like y'all are acting like liberals in those comment sections. Like, you're embarrassing yourselves, and I'm embarrassed for you. So
listen,
geez.
I've had enough criticism about Secretary Hegseth over the last year.
Yeah.
And I've taken some flack for it.
Big time.
I get it. I mean, I don't like it, but it's not inconsistent, truthfully, even with our audience. We love you guys, but let's be a little more, unless you're a personal friend of Kristi Noem, and you've known her and you can vouch for her as a human being more than what you've just seen on television, then, I think we all need to stay objective, because that's what the country deserves.
Yes.
Is that we're doing the right thing for the country. And so Markwayne Mullin, soon to be former junior representative from the great state of Oklahoma, has been named to take her place.
Yep. Former MMA guy. Yeah. Interesting.
He is the only member of Congress who does not have a bachelor's degree.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
He's also the first Native American elected.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
About that.
And not to stereotype folks, but if you looked at him, the last thing that you would believe, he has zero physical traits of a Native American. And I'm not claiming he's not. This is not a
right
Elizabeth Warren kind of a thing. But unless you knew that, unless for whatever reason you knew that,
sure,
you'd never guess that.
No.
But he's a successful business guy. He's a tool belt guy. He runs a plumbing business and a couple of other things, some landscaping, excavating, I think. And so he does very well for himself and a self-made guy. But you're right. He was an MMA fighter. And he has brought that to the floor of Congress on more than one occasion.
We talked about that when that happened. Yes,
he did. Yep. And, he's challenged people to throw hands right there in, and again, this is one of those discussions about decorum. It'll be an interesting, the thing I'm most interested in is his relationship with Tom Homan is going to because it could be like two peas in a pod, or it could be like, two guys who are too much alike.
Yeah.
That will, the too much type A in one room in one place is not always a good thing. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. I would say, surface value. I find him likable. From what I've seen of him, I would call the potential brawl there. I'll call that a yellow flag. I don't think I'd go so far necessarily just to say red flag, but I'll go yellow flag on that. Like, I kind of feel like, okay, you know what? We all get heated sometimes. We all have a moment. This guy, should that have happened? No, of course not. Is it manly? I mean, yeah, it is. So, what are you going to say? I like the things that he seems to be standing for, and it's all the things that we appreciate. He's a family first guy. I think he's got a gaggle of kids. I think there's like half a dozen of them, some adopted, some biological. He's very, he's like your blue collar guy. And I think that's, he's got that great, approachable, likable to me personality. So can he do the job? I like to think that President Trump would not have put him there if he didn't think he could. I mean, that's kind of the given, right? Yeah. So I'm willing to give him a chance, see what he does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all we can do at this point. My concern, and people will say the same about Kristi Noem, except for the fact that she was a governor, right? So governing and having a law enforcement, or law enforcement supervisory responsibility as the governor, right? And having some judicial authority, even as a governor, right?
Right.
He has not had any kind of that background that I am aware of.
I haven't heard anything. Yeah.
Right. So when you put somebody in charge of multiple law enforcement agencies and they have no law enforcement experience, that to me is a concern. Now, would I prefer a lawyer in there? Would I prefer somebody from the old FBI who I would immediately believe to be suspect? No, I wouldn't want any of those people. But I think he's a fire breather. I think he's like you said, President Trump likes him. He's got that personality. And I think that's why he got selected for this job. And it will, like you said, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. We like to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section too. You think it's a good move, good move, bad move, indifferent move? Are you mad that Kristi Noem is out of that position? You glad for it? I'm genuinely curious about the overall reactions to it, because they seem to be really all across the board I do know, it's split. I mean, I do hear a lot more of the pundits on the right saying it was it seems to be a good move because it was like kind of watching a slow moving train wreck potentially happening there with her in that position. So, maybe he saw the writing on the wall, he being President Trump, and just said, you know what, we're gonna nip this in the bud right here before things go off the rails. And yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, my only last concern is that President Trump, when he does this, and you can say the same thing about Kristi Noem, like he plucked her out of the governor's office,
right,
which required South Dakota to elect a new governor, right? And you're always assuming in places, certain places in the United States that you're going to get a like candidate replacement, right?
Right.
So him plucking him out of a very narrow majority in Congress, in the House right now, causes a little bit of concern for me. So I understand that, Oklahoma is probably a place, and his district is probably a place where we're going to get another conservative Republican to get reelected or elected in a special election to fill his seat. But there's never that guarantee. And that is, when you pull a sitting elected official to do that, you're risking, right, a result behind them, a second and third order effect that, may or may not turn out to be in your favor. So that is a concern as well. But again, we'll have to wait and see how that turns out.
Yeah. Yeah. That could be scary potentially. Yeah. But well, we'll keep an eye on it for sure. As always, what do we got up next to talk about? How about this guy? Right? My goodness, guys, I should say. Two of them. These guys, it's not even so much that I'm shaking my head up. Like, this is nothing less than what we're expecting to see. It's once again, guys, you guessed it before I could even say it. It's the damn media, man. CNN. Wow, CNN. I thought I had the screenshot of it. I don't, but I will throw it up there. So CNN stepped in it, of course. It probably helps if I tell you what the heck we're talking about, right, guys? I always forget there's people listening and not watching. Hang on. Backtrack, reverse, rewind. Here we go. Shifting to the streets of New York, where two Pennsylvania punks, Emir, I'm not even going to bother with their names, not just because I can't pronounce one of them, but because they don't even deserve to be named. Anyhow, they tried an ISIS-inspired bombing at a protest near Mayor Zoran Mamdani's home. Devices were thrown, but thankfully they fizzled with no major injuries. So obviously you got all the factors here, the radicalization of the young people here, running just basically unchecked. And then you have the media distorting and lying, blatantly, flat out lying about what happened, or trying to shift the image of what happened or who this happened to. They painted it as they were throwing this that Mamdani was the potential victim here, and that's not the case at all. Go ahead, Clay. Tell him the truth. Give him the truth.
Yeah. So these two individuals, I personally got a little bit of Jesse Smollett out of this, and I'll tell you why. So these two young men who are both from the outskirts of Philadelphia. One of them is the son of two Afghan nationals who came here in the mid 2000s, eventually got their citizenship. They're doing very well for themselves. I mean, they live in a town and in a house that's valued at the millions of dollars mark. So they're contributing to America, right? This is not, this is not Minneapolis, right? This is not Somalis fraudulently taking money. This young man is 18 years old. He is finishing high school at this point. But the second young man is Turkish. He is a naturalized citizen as well, but much older, like 24. So you've got an 18-year-old and a 24-year-old. So they've got no school relation. They've got no personal relationship. They, by all accounts, don't know and have never known each other as far as the families and the people who know them. But yet they drove the 2 hours from Philadelphia to New York. Their vehicle was tracked through toll booths in New Jersey. Not necessarily uncommon, but they passed through New Jersey and then they got into New York. And then they made this attempt, as you said, outside of the mayor's residence. I will never call it Mamdani's house because it belongs to the city of New York. But there was a protest going on, right? Outside of the residency.
Yep.
And it was a pro-Palestine protest.
Yeah.
So these two young men jumped in there and got caught on film. Like the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Multiple phones, multiple cameras.
Yes.
And they launched these two devices. Neither one of them detonated. And then they got chased down by police and they got arrested and then proclaimed loyalty to ISIS. They wanted this incident to be as big or bigger than the Boston Marathon bombing. That was the intent. And no, Mamdani was not the target. There's too many coincidences in this. There's too much, like, how did these two meet? Like, where did they get radicalized?
Yeah.
If they come from, a grateful Afghan family that, is trying to contribute to America. Who's fucking these kids in the Philadelphia, the outskirts of Philadelphia? Who provided them with the not working explosive devices,
Yeah.
And listen, folks, the FBI is doing all those things. They're pulling their computers. There's already been some speculation because there were a couple of phone calls made from one of the families' homes in the Philly suburbs to law enforcement in the hours, I think, leading up to and then after the bombing.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's something suspicious about it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they drove all the way to New York. They drove into the city. They went straight to the mayor's house, who is a Muslim and a communist, and then just happened to walk into a protest that's going on and just decided to throw these two explode. Like, there's too many coincidences going on here for this to be. There's something wrong. Like, all of my spidey senses are going off that this is not right. But I want to know who they've been associating with, and to find, especially because they've been radicalized and like this, war ISIS kind of thing. Listen, folks, we should never have to go this way, but we're going to have to. What mosque are they attending? That's what I want.
Right.
And so those are the roads that the FBI is going to have to go down, and people are going to get overly super sensitive about it. Because now you're blending into the politics, separation of church and state and religion and all this other stuff. The problem is that from years of experience, that part of the world doesn't separate religion and politics. They're all together. So that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. I did find that CNN quote. It's actually got it from one of my favorites, that Libs of TikTok. I love her account. So she pulled this up. So I'll read it to you guys that are listening and not watching. CNN posted, and I believe this is the one they quickly deleted, but not before. Thank you. So CNN tweeted, 2 Pennsylvania teenagers crossed into New York City Saturday morning for what could have been a normal day, enjoying the city during abnormally warm weather. But in less than an hour, their lives would drastically change as the pair would be arrested for throwing homemade bombs during an anti-Muslim protest outside of Mayor Zohran Mamdani's home. Here's what we know so far. And of course, they have a link to it. But, I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? That is right up there with their other one about, what was his name? The Iranian guy they got, and they called him a bushy white bearded man. Sorry, thank you. Yeah, and that wasn't CNN that said that. I think that was like, who was that? I don't know, one of the newspapers or something.
They soft play everything, and that's part of the problem. And so there was nothing normal about what they were doing.
No.
There was nothing. It wasn't an average Saturday. Like, those kids left Philadelphia area, suburbs, however it is that they met up, however they linked up, with intent to kill people.
Yeah.
Right. That and thankfully, great job by the NYPD, by the way, because the guy that chased them down, have you seen the still photos of this?
Yeah.
He is and I won't get the terminology right because every city is different. He is like a district chief. Like, this is not a patrolman or a sergeant or whatever. This is a section of the city chief that one hand hopped a railing and chased down an 18 or 24-year-old and tackled him and arrested him. Like, great job by NYPD on that one.
Absolutely. Yeah, big time.
Yeah, so the media, and then the initial reports of this is that these were two white supremacists who threw these failed explosives into this protest. They were described initially as MAGA. That's why you get the Jussie Smollett thing about it, right?
Yes.
And so there was a ton of media, jumping to conclusions. And then the mayor stayed on that train. He kept going with the white supremacy crap for 24 hours. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
They just need to do it long enough that enough of their useful idiots get that ingrained in their head and run with it. Like, then they'll get around. It's the same thing like any newspaper when they have to do a retraction. The mistake or false information is headline news. The retraction is like on the last page in tiny print, when it's way too late for anyone to notice or care. Like, it's already been implanted in people's brains that, the first version is the truth. And, I mean, again, I'm a broken record with it, but we are all so sick and tired of that type of BS from these people. And I'm so sick and tired of there being no real accountability for this. I mean, give me a break. Like, how did anybody who reads that narrative from CNN, that tweet, and says and believes it and doesn't question it, you are truly a moron. Like, you are an absolute dumb person, because to read that and know what actually happened and to fall for that narrative, like, so where did the bombs just fall into their hands accidentally, and they accidentally threw them in the air? Maybe like they thought they were going to get stung by a bee, and that's, like, that's like where they're going to take the story. Like, oh, a bee, let me throw the bomb really quick so I don't, I can't. Maybe they thought it was a hot potato, and and they had to throw it. Like, that's how CNN would like end up reporting it, right? Like, guys, they thought they had hot potatoes in their hand and they threw them so they wouldn't get burned. You can't use these people enough.
The same Jussie Smollett feel to it. Like,
it does.
The guy who's a multi-million-dollar, actor living in Chicago goes out at 2:00 in the morning, in a blizzard to get Subway, to chance run into two white guys in MAGA hats who happen to be carrying around bleach and a noose.
Yeah. Like, we're going to get you.
Right, in a neighborhood, truthfully, where there aren't a lot of white people wandering around. Like, and I get the same feel from this, except I think these two are useful idiots. Like, I think they were set up. I think that this was somebody else's idea. They were convinced. They're just being used for this, and that's what this is going to turn out to be. Is that there's just too much? There's too many coincidences. There's too much. There's too many holes in this. None of it feels right, and that's, I think, what we're going to find out about this. But again, they're going to have to start at the mosque. They have to.
Yeah. I think your interpretation of this, or what you're taking from this, I suspect that it's going to be very accurate. Because they were really just dumber than dirt. Yeah. Like, dumber than dirt. Yeah. So the whole thing stinks no matter what. But, I mean, like, the whole thing of all of that, though, and it's part of what we've been talking about, you and I, and people in general, as all of this has been going on. I mean, honestly, as far back as all of the border crossings and everything, like you have so many elements of people that you just have no tracking, no idea of who they are, what they're affiliated with. And, thank God that that went down the way that it did,
Yeah.
because obviously it could have been so much worse and such a different conversation. But this is the times that we're living in, and it's awful, awful. I know people who don't want to go, and I fall under that category. I'm not really interested right now in going to big concerts and big events where there's massive crowds of people. I told my daughter last week, she was talking about going to a concert, my Florida child. And I said, honey, I know you're an adult and I can't tell you what to do, but you are not going, young lady. You are not going. You will be grounded.
Mom card.
Yeah, I played that mom card.
Yeah.
And if that didn't work, I would have pulled out the guilt mom card. I've been like, honey, you'll break my heart if you. That's a whole other conversation. But yeah, it's just, and I certainly don't want to be a fear monger and tell people that they shouldn't live their life and do things. But my goodness, just, head on a swivel, be cautious, be smart. That's all you can do. It's literally all you can do.
And you know what, though, for once, we've got somebody who tried to tamp down some of the rhetoric.
Yes,
Right?
indeed. Yep.
So, in the past, whatever it's been, 2 weeks or so, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who was a friend of President Trump, by the way,
yes,
he asked before his father's funeral proceedings that everyone leave the politics at home. Now, he said that very publicly, and then they invited a bunch of politicians to speak. So mistake number one.
Yeah. They can't help themselves. Come on.
They can't help themselves. But non-politicians did it too. So Isaiah Thomas. So Jesse Jackson is a Chicago guy. I grew up seeing him on TV my entire life. I know he ran for president and all that. And I know that he was very much on the national stage, but he was local news here all the time when I grew up. Isaiah Thomas was invited to the funeral. He was also a Chicago guy, right? I went to grammar school and high school with his nieces and nephews. Like I met Isaiah Thomas when I was a kid, and he was a jerk. He was a jerk back then, and he lost the city of Chicago when he played for Detroit against Michael Jordan and tried to kill him back in the days when the NBA was worth watching. But he stood up there at this funeral and addressed the 5 presidents that were in the audience, and included, of course, President Obama,
right,
President Biden, President Bill Clinton, but also addressed President Kamala Harris and President Hillary Clinton because he believes that they actually should be the presidents, or should have been presidents. So he even non-politicians made political statements about all of this. But you had President Obama, President Biden, Kamala Harris all got up there, all made very politically charged statements, even at, against the request of, the deceased's family.
Yeah. Who was it? His son ripped him to shreds for it.
Yep. Jesse Jackson Jr.
So.
Yeah. Jesse Jackson Jr., who is, he's part of the American success story in the sense that he's a reformed criminal. Like he was a felon. Like that dude spent time in jail for like big boy crimes. But he's out. He's and for this, he asked for no politics. And then when they violated that, those specific 3 politicians, he came out the next day and he let them have it. Holy cow.
Yeah, he did.
And not only did he say that they violated his request, but he also said they stood there and they talked about my father and they don't even know my father. They never knew my father. So, he basically, you've got Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, right,
Mhm.
who have been the two biggest
Right.
political religious leaders in the African American community for the last 25 years, basically took over for, people like Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm
Mhm.
X, and like they were then follow on generation. And you've got the first Black president who
Mhm.
is now is being accused of not knowing or
Mm.
having a relationship with Jesse Jackson. So
Yeah.
what spin does that put on former President Obama
Right.
for him to stand up there and do that?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it was a bad look all around. It was it's just shameful. It's just, I mean, that's it in a nutshell. It's just shameful that this is what they feel compelled to do at every single turn. Your award shows and all of these things. You know what? That's one thing, and you do almost expect it because they're so far left leaning and all of that. But come on, guys, that's so disgraceful and disrespectful. But that's what they do. Like you can expect no less from them. It's a shame.
I'm very happy that Jesse Jackson Jr. did that.
Yeah, I am too.
I am, and he's a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. There's no question about it. But he asked for no politics. They violated that, and then not only did they violate it, but they said a lot of things that were either untrue or he felt it was even more disrespectful to do that because they didn't have a relationship with his father.
Right.
So good for him for calling him out. I think we need more of that across the board and across the aisle, folks.
Yeah.
Like, this is not just limited to the Democrats. They just happen to be the ones who this week made the biggest idiots out of themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And to state the obvious, not a single one of them has acknowledged that
No,
hand slap.
Nope.
What a surprise. What a surprise. They don't even have the class to own up to and say, hey, you know what? Feel bad about that. Shouldn't have done it. They can't do that. God forbid if they actually take any kind of accountability, even for something as comparatively small as everything else. But
and
no surprise.
What President Biden said?
No, what did he say? That dodo.
Yeah, and it's right in his wheelhouse of stupid.
Yeah.
He talked about bullying and how he was bullied as a kid because of his stutter and all of and then like went into this whole just because somebody has a stutter doesn't mean they're stupid. I'm not stupid. In fact, I'm smarter than probably everybody here. So he basically told an entire room full of people
they're dumb and he's smart.
That they're dumb and he's smart. And truthfully, an entire room full of African Americans.
Yeah.
That they're dumb and he's smart. So yeah, and again, we all know like the Democratic Party and his wife need to put him away.
They do. It's like stop dragging him out of the crypt every chance you get and throwing him up there to just make him stop. Make it stop. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, Bill's getting right up there too. Like it's time to put him away. It's time to put him somewhere safe there because he's he's stumbling and bumbling all over the place. And yes,
we talked about his testimony last week, but
yes, we did.
A new clip this week. Did you see where he was kind of like low key flirting with Nancy Mace?
I saw that and I was speechless. I was absolutely speechless. It wasn't even, I don't even think it was low key. I think it was like blatant. Like he was flat out flirting with her and she was kind of like, okay, I don't even, I can't even right now with this.
Yeah. I mean, he was like, it was said in a very nice voice. You know what I mean? Like it was very I'm
telling you, I think he's flipped his lid like entirely. Like he is complete. It's either one of two things with him. One, he has just simply hit the don't give a hoot phase and he just is letting it fly. Or it's kind of addled up there and he can't even like control it. Like he doesn't even have the control to stop himself. Whatever the case is, like you better put him away because he's going to be making a lot more shocking, offensive statements and things. I mean, he almost pushed his wife down in New York City. What was that, today? I think that was just today. Guys, it's Wednesday. We're recording on Wednesday. You'll see this on Thursday. There's all these videos circulating right now, catching this moment where the two of them and of course a gaggle of people around them were walking in New York City, and she stopped abruptly because of traffic, and he kind of gave her a little push and then like walked into her, so of course the memes and everything all over the place are that, he was trying to push her into oncoming traffic, which of course we're all finding hilarious.
Our listeners and viewers last week in the comments, somebody confirmed that he does have Parkinson's disease.
It is Parkinson's. Okay. All right.
One of our viewers said that last week. So when we were, during that segment of the show, we were talking about his testimony. So, with the Parkinson's, there is going to be obviously the physical decline. I think you're right. I think there's probably, signs of a mental decline of some sort. He probably, he clearly has his faculties better than President Biden, but
right. It's like he's losing the filter. The filter is starting to disappear.
He's 80 and it's going downhill, and it's probably going to be pretty rapid. So
yeah, I think so. He's got that shuffling gait. Not as bad as Biden, but you can see it. And of course the hand tremors, all the things that we're Oh, sleepy creepy Joe. Oh, that guy. I miss playing I miss doing the skits of the handler. I miss doing those. I don't want him back. Believe me. I mean, I'm fine. I'm okay. But those were a lot of fun to do. He gave me nothing but material every single day. There was something to make a skit about. My goodness. Oh, all right. So listen, we're laughing right now, and I am not going to be laughing in a second because we're going to be talking about this. Clay, they're freaking me out here. I got I got grandbaby visits coming up. They can't be messing around.
I do as well. I'm on my way down to Florida this weekend to go jump out of a plane with some friends of mine. And, but yes, so TSA right now, folks, is, there's some significantly long lines at some of the bigger airports. And it does have to do with the partial government shutdown. No question about it. There is discussion about curtailing some flights until this gets settled. President Trump, you said it last week. President Trump has said, he's not signing anything until the Save America Act, I think, is passed. And that would probably include any kind of budget declaration at this point. So do you use any apps to check wait times? I didn't even know there were apps to check.
I didn't know that either. So we do the TSA PreCheck. And I never, we typically get to the airport within an hour before boarding. And I guess that's not going to be the case this time. I guess we're starting extra early. Yay. Yeah. Although, I don't know, you and I talked about Clear beforehand. So I think that might be the
so
next option.
I'm airport anxiety. And I do have Clear, which cuts out a lot of time. If you travel enough that it's financially worthwhile, if you fly enough during the year, then it may be worthwhile for you. If you're a casual or occasional flyer, probably harder to justify. But it is Clear is a definite bonus. But I am airport anxiety. I am still two hours before, and truthfully, I overplan it. And I end up getting there even more than 2 hours before. I do use the USO at pretty much every airport I go to. It's one of those nice veteran benefits that I can go in there, grab a bottle of water, and sit down in a quiet place for as much time as I need to. So I don't mind being at the airport early. But this, folks, is turning into I think Houston was one of the big ones. I think.
There's another one too. New Orleans. I think
one of the ones in Florida. I don't remember which one. But they were in excess of 4 hours. So if you are a traveler, or either you've got travel coming up or you're a frequent traveler, I think there's a My TSA app. Didn't know that.
I didn't either.
And so you can, it directs you to wait times. It'll tell you what wait times are at your favorite airport. It also has a lot of stuff on. I was messing around with it today where it's reminders of you can bring this, you can't bring that. This can go in your carry-on. This has to go in your checked baggage. So there's that. But there are also some other third-party apps that will give you wait times. Now,
that's good to know.
You can always go directly to the social media of the airports that you were flying in and out of.
Yeah, true.
So when I saw this on whatever it was Tuesday morning, they were talking about Houston and whatever the airport was in Florida, and they were talking wait times of 3 and 4 hours and people being all the way out in the parking garage waiting to get into TSA lines. I was like, oh crap, I'm flying this weekend. So I went to my airport and I checked their social media and it was like 29 minutes. I was
okay. Good.
So your airports will have in their social media feeds or on their websites, they will have the current TSA wait times.
Oh, that's good to know.
Some of them will even give you trending times.
Yeah.
So like this time of day, it's worse on these days. So check all that stuff out before you go to the airport, folks. So you're not surprised. And right now, until they figure this out with government funding, I don't foresee any change to this anytime soon.
Yeah. Listen, as far as you can keep me stuck in Florida, but do not keep me stuck here at home. Like, I will stay in Florida as long as you need me to. It's all good. I will stay there. That's fine. Oh, sorry, can't go home. Line's too long. Whoops, my bad. Oh, so yeah. I mean, all the laughing and joking around about this aside, it is actually very serious when you think about these, these TSA workers, these employees that are working without pay, they have families to feed and bills to pay, all of the things, and they're not getting paid. And, for the most part, they're still showing up. And obviously, you got ones that are not, they're calling in sick and all of those things. But you can't do this to people.
We've had 2 incidences in the last week where flights have had to be diverted.
Yes.
Because of on-airline, in-air incidences. But listen, folks, if I could tell you nothing else, I would tell you this. Go to the airport. If you're like me and you have airport anxiety, go extra early.
Yeah.
Be kind to the TSA folks. It's not their fault. I know that we all, you want to get mad at them because you think they're being inefficient or you think there's too many of them standing around or whatever. Keep in mind that those folks are there. There's a lot of their coworkers that are not there. And those folks may be on a double shift. They may be on an extended shift. They may have been there for 11 and a half hours already. I know you don't care, you, the general you, because you're going to wherever and you need to get there. But don't take it out on TSA, folks. It's not their fault. They're caught in the middle of it. They're doing the best they can.
Yep. Be kind. Thank them.
Yeah, for sure.
And if they don't say you're welcome, whatever, don't worry about it. Just keep going. Okay. Just keep going. Yep. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Dang it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, gosh. Let's talk about this guy. You do this slow clap that Crockett is out. Obviously, and that's great, but what is she getting replaced with? This guy, really? This and you called it beforehand that the whole moderate thing, it's a mirage. Like, anybody paying attention, and please pay attention, he's not a moderate. Like, this is just I don't know, I want to say a Trojan horse, but yeah, I guess that's probably about right. Yeah, it's accurate to say. That is right. That's really what he's trying to do. So James Talarico has folks buzzing. Of course, he is the moderate messiah, or is he just another progressive in preacher's clothing? Yeah. That's all he is. This guy is calling God non-binary. So right there, like, I could, for me personally, I could just stop right there and go, okay, that's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear. Okay. To know exactly what this guy is all about. He's trying to pass himself off as this moderate guy, and he really is just nothing more than your typical average run-of-the-mill progressive, and that's all going to come out. So I can't imagine I guess I can't imagine. I take it back that Texas would be like snowed by this guy, but I don't know, Clay. It still makes you nervous.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the district that put Crockett in there. So, I mean,
Yeah.
is it possible? Sure, it's possible. Like you said, it's there's a creepiness to him, and it is that liberal, that way left liberal, not
Yes.
moderate. Again, that's the label he has put on himself. But he's not moderate. When he says things like God is non-binary, now listen, there's a discussion to be had, the he in the Bible, there was always the movement of God as a woman, right? And you could always go down the road of asexual versus non-binary, right? God is not a gender. Regardless, the fact that he used the non-binary label,
right?
The fact that he has said there are 6 genders, biological, right? 6 biological genders. The fact that he is a huge supporter of trans kids, right? And the mutilation surgery and everything that comes along with that. Like there's nothing moderate about him. He's using the moderate label to soften his image, which, oh, by the way, they did a great segment on him on Gutfeld last night. After we chose this topic, funny enough. And in that, he is focus group to death. Like everything that this guy says has been run through a focus group. Every answer that he pulls out of his pocket has been run through a focus group. He will tell you anything you want to hear. That's how he's going to get himself elected.
Right.
Blatant, flat out lie, tell you what you want to hear just to get into office.
Yeah.
And that's why he's using the moderate label on himself, is to soften the edges so that he does get elected.
Yeah, all I can hope for them is that the actual Christians, Democrat Christians, are paying attention, and that he offends the heck out of them. Yes. That that's all I can hope for with that their Christianity, if they read their Bible, that they take one look at this guy and they use some discernment and say absolutely not. But we will see. I certainly wouldn't hold my breath on it based on everything else we've seen thus far from that camp, But shame on you if you fall for this and you think this is a good idea. Gross. And yes, you mentioned the word creepy. You just take a look at a picture of this guy. So creepy. He's like,
he looks like the Children of the Corn.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's like they made this like caricature of a stereotype and just cut him out of cardboard and animated him and put him up there and said, "This is the guy right here." Oh,
yeah, it's bad.
Listen, I don't think there's ever going to be a time where we'll be wishing for Jasmine Crockett back, but
only for entertainment value. That's it.
Yeah. Yes. The entertainment value was definitely a lot better with her. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So again, another one to keep watching. I'm sure we'll be talking about this more in upcoming weeks and more. So we'll see. Let's talk about one of your favorite topics. I feel like you're sticking that topic in all the time now.
This is as political as it gets. But every time I have to clarify, we're speaking to an American audience. We use the term soccer, so I don't get yelled at by people who refer to it as football, even though I am a football/soccer guy. Okay. So for those of you that have been paying attention, there was a tournament, a women's national team tournament played in Australia over the last couple of weeks, and the Iranian national women's team was there, and they were offered asylum. Initially, there was no reaction from the Australian Prime Minister until President Trump got involved and tweeted some stuff on X. And then Australia offered these women, because they protested by not singing their national anthem before one of the matches, and it caught the attention of everybody, and it hit social media pretty hard. So there's expectations that there is going to be some punishment, put upon them once they return home. And they were scared. They were scared for their own safety, a number of them. And so President Trump stepped in, I think probably didn't give the Prime Minister of Australia a fair shot, but the Prime Minister stepped in, and the entire Iranian women's soccer team, coaching staff included, were given the opportunity to take asylum in Australia. 6 of them have taken the offer. Initially, it was 7, and then, initially it was 5, and then 2 more jumped in, and then one of them backed out and said, "No, I'm going home." And the fear for them is that their families are going to pay the price if they don't return to Iran. The flip side to that fear is if they return to Iran, they're going to get punished for not singing the national anthem. And in, that country, especially being women, that punishment could be pretty severe, up to including, death. So, thankfully, Australia, I think, did what they could. I think they offered what they could. But now, even today, a new development is the Iranian men's national team qualified for the World Cup being played here in North America this coming summer. And Iran has said that their men's national team is dropping out of the World Cup because of the airstrikes by the United States and Israel. And there's no way that they could come over here and play. Personally, I believe that if they let the Iranian men's team come over here, they're going to have the same result. And there's going to be a number of them that will seek asylum, defect, stay in the United States, etc. And obviously Iran doesn't want that. So they're going to stop that from happening by not even putting them on a plane. But some team out there, and I don't know how FIFA is going to figure this out, but some team out there just got a free bid to the World Cup that they were not expecting.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Yeah. So. Well, I feel like the obvious is to praise these women for their courage, because this is that's huge for all the reasons that you said, for their own safety, and then, for their families' safety. That is a decision I wouldn't wish on anyone to ever have to make. And, what a world to live in that this is something that even happens. But kudos to Trump for putting on the pressure. Love that. Like, hey guys.
And then gave the Prime Minister an attaboy for stepping in.
Yeah. That is good.
He said it. Prime Minister stepped in. Like I said, I've given him enough opportunity, but the Prime Minister stepped in, and then, and then Trump, applauded him for doing so.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Nope. That's good. So, pretty wild story. I'd love to call it a great story. It's great for those girls that are going to have some freedom. But geez, there's so much that goes with it. It's so sad. Just the whole thing is so sad. Yep. Let's talk about, let's say we technically have two topics left, but let's talk about this. So this is I don't know, is this a real drama or is this a created drama? So the rumor mill has been turning on a possible military draft amongst all the Iran tensions. Hegseth won't rule out boots on ground, and the White House dodges questions. Fear mongering or what? What do you think, Clay?
There's no draft, folks. It's not happening. And listen, I can play both sides of this. Sure. Being a career military guy, I'm not a fan of a draft for a number of reasons. Listen, we had recruiting problems for a long time because we couldn't get enough candidates who were fit enough to serve. Right. And say fit enough. There's the epidemic of medicating kids, which immediately disqualifies many of them from service. You've got kids who are not physically fit enough. You've got kids with criminal records. There's a lot of things that will, make a draft very, very difficult. Two, there's no need. There is absolutely no need. We have not put a single boot on the ground that anybody knows of. And so we don't need it. But, there's an old adage in the military for a commander, right? If you're the guy in charge or gal in charge, you spend 90% of your time dealing with 10% of your soldiers. That 10% of not your top performers. They're the ones that you have to worry that are discipline issues, that get into trouble all the time. If you implement a draft, that 10% is going to go up exponentially because you're going to have a whole class of folks who don't want to be there. I don't wish that on anybody. But listen, folks, there's no draft. It's not happening.
Everybody calm down.
There's no reason for it to happen. And for all of you that are saying that Barron Trump should be serving because his dad decided to do this, you're all way off base.
Yeah.
Way off base. And we could have a whole separate segment on why.
Right.
And people have been saying things about Prince Harry, and I was there in Afghanistan. Like, as great as that was that he served his country, I will tell you that the guys that he served with, who I talked to after he was shuttled out of there in a hurry, they all knew that if anybody found out, if the Taliban, if anybody found out that he was there, that they were going to be targeted so hard. They were more worried about their own safety being close to him if the enemy knew he was around.
Yeah,
Barron
rightly
Trump
so. Same thing.
Trump is 6'9".
You can't miss that kid. You cannot hide him. He is a giant, literal giant. So there's no hiding.
Says he should be on the front lines fighting because his dad wants to do this. Then you are wishing to put more people at risk simply for the on principle. So way off base on that. Regardless, there's no draft, folks. There's
no draft. Everybody calm down. Stop wringing your hands and shaking your fists and having a panic attack. It's okay.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Your son doesn't have to come out of the basement. It's okay. All right, guys, we got one last topic for you, and guess what it is? It's the comment section. So I love this. So I came in with one comment, and it's a good one. It's a nice one. And I was like, I guess that'll be the only one we'll go with. Clay, does that sound good? And Clay says, actually, I've got one, and it's not so good. So I thought, well, there we go. I do love balance. Balance is my favorite word. So we're going to do both. What should we do first? The kind or the not so kind?
Let's end on the good. Let's go with the not so nice.
Start with the not so nice. Is that what you said?
Yeah, this is the one I pulled, folks. And there was so much irony in this. And it actually, so this is a comment from one of the shorts that you do, like when you take the show and you pull a highlight. And I don't remember which one it was. But this, Frank says this podcast is a full-on assault to rational, intelligent person, which he posted this, he hit enter. I think he meant any, but he clearly didn't spell check. So he is not obviously a rational, intelligent person. So
he is clearly not.
He kind of outed himself, but this is what Frank thinks of all of us, or at least thinks of Elsa and I. And, I guess it is what it is.
It is what it is. Well,
everybody's entitled.
And, all I would say to Frank is, a couple of things. One, you don't have to watch, honey. It's okay. You don't have to watch. That gun on the wall there behind Clay, it's not going to get you. You're okay. Nobody's holding that to your head to watch. Right? I'm so scared. Two, I would say spell check, my friend. Spell check is your friend because you just made such a fool. Right? That's all. Like we do know what you meant, but when you are accusing other people of being unintelligent and you don't even know that, for one, podcast is one word, not two words, and ENT, I mean, just all you had to do is spell check. So anyhow, thank you for your comment. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful life. And then actually hang on, I got to say this before we get to the other comment. I want to say this. So I see in some of the reels that some people comment, who are they talking about? What is this to? Where does it come from? And the level of bafflement is baffling. Like, it's clearly part of a podcast. do people not know that, like, if you click on, I don't know, the bio and go to somebody's page, or they just click on the name of the creator of that content, it'll take you over to all their stuff. Like, it's actually kind of easy to find. Like, it's not that hard. And then usually 99% of the time there is a caption at the bottom or top or side of the video that explains what the video is talking about. So it just takes like a couple of seconds to read it. People like hate it.
I noticed after that was out for a little while, and there were so many questions about, we were talking about Megan Rapinoe, right?
Yes.
And people couldn't figure out to go and find the stuff at the bottom, and you put a big black and white box right in the middle of it to make it
in the middle. Like, why are they? I was feeling bad initially. I'm like, oh my goodness, I made a mistake. I didn't put a caption. I didn't do this, and I've messed everybody up with this. Because it was all there. It was all there. So I'm not taking the hit on that, folks. All right, and here is our nice comment to end the show with. Richard said, "This is the first time I've seen your show trying to educate people, well-balanced and factual. We try. We thank you. And we do try. Like, no joke. Like, we try. We try and get all of the facts. I may come in with a little more fluff than Clay does. Clay comes with the facts, and it's a nice balance. It's a nice balance, right? But that was so sweet to see. And we do, I tell you, and I'm guilty of doing this quite a bit on my own personal stuff, of, screenshotting the not so nice comments and then making a response video to them, and usually it's just to make fun and just get a good chuckle out of it. But we really do see the kind comments, and we are so incredibly appreciative to you guys who watch and, and support us and encourage us and just are just all around awesome people. And we sincerely thank you for that. So especially thanks for that comment. We appreciate it.
Yeah, folks. I mean, that's it. That's where we're at. That's
it.
We love you guys, and we do appreciate everybody tuning in. We do check the comments, obviously, both of us do. And, we love interacting with you guys and jumping in. I actually enjoy it the most when our viewers and listeners, our viewers, or whoever, they interact with each other. Like, I enjoy watching that. That's a lot of fun too. Keep it civil, but
yes, please
enjoy folks, jumping in on a conversation amongst themselves, and just Elsa and I being the conversation starters.
Yeah. I love that. It's so fun. It's such a blessing and an honor to be able to do that. So keep that stuff up, guys. We love it. Yeah. Clay, you want to close them out?
Yeah, folks. Again, thanks for tuning in. Whether you're listening or watching or both, put what you want in the comments section, and maybe we'll make you famous. But until next week, as always for me, keep moving, keep shooting.
Take care, guys. We'll see you next week.
The headlines will change by tomorrow, but the patterns won't. Thanks for spending this time with us. We'll be back to keep asking the harder questions and telling the quieter truths. Until then, stay grounded, be discerning, and we'll see you next time.